Hello everyone, welcome back to Jared's Mind Stuff. And in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you guys a build of mine. I'm touring it. Now, the game we're in today is called Build a Boat for Treasure. The goal of the game is to basically build a boat to then get treasure. And you have to go through many different levels that have obstacles that get harder as you progress. But I haven't built a boat here. I've built something far more impressive. I've built a starship. The ship I've built here is the Enterprise C, which is based upon the Enterprise C from Star Trek, mainly yesterday's Enterprise. The exterior of the ship is based upon the Enterprise C. The interior is not, as there aren't many photos of it, and in Build a Boat, you cannot build to that amount of scale. The real ship has multiple decks, where this only has 4 levels to it. Obviously, I won't go too much into the Star Trek lore and technology of it. I'll be mainly touring it through a Build a Boat lens. So, again, so the real Enterprise C did not have landing gear like this, but my one does because it does need to land, or I like it to land. So the first, how to enter it is you get up through the shuttle bay, which is located at the back here. By pulling this lever, it extends this truss right here for you to climb up, and the doors open on the shuttle bay. Now, we get up here, we have 2 shuttlecrafts right now. They aren't really particular, so loosely based on Starfleet shuttlecrafts, but just open through this little gate here, and you can pilot it as it has a jet on the top here, which is invisible. The jets in this game is what allows objects to fly. Opening through this door, I kind of call this shuttle bay control. We just have a couple of seats. This lever here opens the door from the inside. This, of course, light here represents that the door is open, which not sure why you would really ever need that. Here is kind of like a rough layout map of the Enterprise C, which shows up in multiple starships throughout Star Trek. Now, that's really all there is for this room. This kind of looks cool with the neon lights and consoles. Now, in the hallway here, we have 3 rooms. On the right, this is the medical bay. And again, this is not too based on Starfleet or anything like that. Just have 2 beds here, which do have like seats in them, which you can sit down on. This is like a little medical monitor. We have 2 of these machines, which who knows what they really do, but they're for like the operating table and stuff. Then we got like a desk over here for the doctor to input the data, and then another bed over here, and a couple of windows for just a nice view. You can view the nacelle up there. Now, on the opposite side of the hallway, we have the brig, which is basically the jail cell in the ship. Simply pulling this lever will engage the force field it's based upon. And doing it again. Currently, we only have this guy, who's been in here for a very long time. Oh, and this guy too. And it's not a lot of fun to be in here. You don't want to end up in here, but if you're bad, then you get put in here and somebody will have to watch you from here. Now, the last room on this deck is simply a quarter. There's some quarters. We have a little terminal here with a little piece of candy. It's kind of an empty space. This could be repurposed in the future for other things. This is the turbo lift. It works by having 4 buttons which take you to the 4 different floors. We are currently on floor 2. Now, the L of how it works, when you click a button to a different floor, not floor 2, so floor 1, 3, or 4, it will take the elevator up to that floor, wait a second, and then return back to floor 2. So really, this button here does nothing. So first we'll start off by going to floor 1, or deck 1, which really should be the bridge, where the numbers are opposite. I have them. So floor 1 is engineering. Now engineering is a bit small, but it mainly houses the warp core, which is this. You can pull this lever to activate the lights. This is like a coolant tank for the warp core. This is just warp core this is just warp core controls. And then we have two portals on the sides here. The portals take you to each of the nacelles. So this left portal takes you to the left nacelle. As you see, we're now in here in front of the Bassard collector, which is this part. And this is the actual warp nacelle part. Again, on here, you just have different levers. This one just kind of activates these lights here, kind of makes a cool pattern. And this right here, I think activates these lights. And right up there, that's one of the sonic jets for the warp nacelle. If we go back through the portal, back to engineering, which is down in this part of the ship at the bottom. And then this portal takes you to the right nacelle, which again, just like the opposite version of the other nacelle. Then we're now up here. This is where the medical bay was, or is. And yeah, so that's engineering. Kind of small, not too much. Now, the order to bring the elevator down, you click the call button. It will then bring the elevator to the floor. Then you do have to let it wait to get back to the second floor before then inputting your next destination, which we're going to deck 3. Now, deck 3 is on the saucer section. So I'll explain what that is when we're up there. This is the saucer section. It is, as it implies, the part that looks like the saucer. So we're now up here. This part right here is called the drive section. They also can be called primary hull and secondary hull. This right here is what we went through, which is called more of like the neck of the ship. Now on deck 3, we'll get to that part at the end, or a bit later. Well, if we go this direction, we have 2 quarters. This right here is captain's quarters. That's why it has 2 like thrones, the beds here, computer, a view, and then a little seating area for whatever. Then we also have another quarter, just a standard crew quarters. Inside here, we have this is be more of like this more consoles and other scientific stations, but it also has access to this right here, which is very special. This is the captain's yacht. The captain's yacht is like a shuttlecraft but bigger, and it's also located in the center of the saucer section with a hole at the bottom. So entering the captain's yacht, we have some seating, a little weapon here, and then a seat here, the pilot. You can then pulling this lever will lower the captain's yacht out of the ship. Then you can press the red button, which will detach this, and the captain's yacht will break free. This is shown in one of the Star Trek movies for a different Enterprise. That's the captain's yacht. So basically the ship has 3 shuttlecrafts in it. But this one has 2 different types of thrusters. It has the red thrusters, which are slower and they don't last as long, and then also has sonic thrusters, which are faster and last longer, where the shuttlecrafts only have the base red thruster. Now, going on to the end of the hallway here, we reach the cafeteria at the front, which is on this ship called 3 Forward. So this is a bunch of candy, some cakes, nice viewing areas, and we're at the forward section of the saucer section. And then going through this doorway takes us to the other side of the saucer. Here we have again 2 quarters. This is the standard quarter, and this one's slightly bigger and has a little model of Enterprise C, more computers, some candy. These quarters also had bathrooms. I forgot to show. The captain's one had the same thing. They're just inverses. And right here, it again is like another more scientific station, but this does not have access to the captain's yacht. Only that side does. And then lastly, we'll go into this, which is access to the Jeffries tubes, which are kind of like maintenance tunnels of the ship. So if we go down to the first section here. This right here is what I call impulse control. This activates the impulse engines, which are located there, which are red thrusters. The F lever activates the forward impulse, and then the R lever activates the reverse impulse. You do have controls of these on the bridge, which we'll get to later, but this is a manual access if something goes wrong on the bridge. The light switch. And then we continue going to the bottom. This right here is a view of, and actually access to the turbo lift, which that's what it looks like from the different angle. In fact, when the turbo lift was going up, you might have seen a window. That was this right here. And that's some of the behind the scenes workings of it all. It's a little ladder. So if you ever need access to this part, that's how you can get to it. And then you also can, if you ever saw a glitch in here, or I don't know, if the ship's under attack, is a great way to get back into the ship. Now going through here, we have just other cables and wires, basically, and there's just little seating in the drive section. And so the tunnel goes through the neck to this part here, above the deck 2 right here. We're just right above. And that's really all there is for the Jeffries tubes here. They're just little maintenance tunnels. So if we now we're going to go to the final section of the ship, which is the bridge. So again, call the elevator. Let the elevator go down. Then we'll go to deck 4, or really deck 1 it should be. This is the bridge. It is the command station of the ship. Right here, this is more of tactical. This is a science stations, helm, ops, other science stations, and whatever. Right here, this is the view screen, or it's basically just a window to the front of the ship. You can click this button to close it if you don't want to see out. Here's the captain's chair, and this is first officer's chair. The first officer's chair really doesn't have anything, but the captain's chair has the pilot seat, which controls the entire ship and all the engines and weapons and whatever. We go into this room. This is the meeting room. Pretty self-explanatory. Has a little window on the side. And then this is the captain's, this is the ready room, which is like the captain's little workspace, or home away from home, I guess, from his quarters. So he can work here, and then if he's needed, he can just immediately go out onto the bridge here. And this switch right here is very special because this activates red alert. Red alert is like the warning system. It represents something bad's going to happen, battle stations, all that. So by flipping this, the red lights activate, and only on this deck do the main lights turn off, except for one. On the other decks, though, it just kind of lights up red, as you see in some of the spots poking through. And yeah, because every room has a red alert switch, has a red alert light in it. So you need the meeting room here, they're alerted. Okay, ready room, then alerted. The quarters here, yep, red light there, red light there. So throughout the entire ship, red lights have been activated for a warning. Flipping the switch will undo that. And that about concludes it for the actual tour of everything in the ship. And now it's time to take this thing out for a little test drive, a little spin. So, sitting in the captain's seat, first you have to launch the boat. When you launch a boat, it will then start moving whatever is on whatever's on your plot, and it will go through the stages which are up there. We're not going to be going through them, we're just kind of going to be flying around. But when you also have to release, you have to take off the landing gear. So landing gear is controlled by this switch here. So we're going. All right. So first thing you want to do is again we're going to launch the boat, and then we're going to disengage the landing gear. This will bring up all of the gear pretty slowly. And then you want to start with activating the Z button. Again, that's just other pieces that are kind of loose on the ship. The ship still needs a few minor things tweaked on it. So pressing Z activates the forward impulse engine. This moves the ship around slower. So this is better for landing and stuff like that. If we click X, this activates warp engines, and you also want to deactivate impulse at the same time. So again, that's both thrusters inside the nacelles here. W, A, S, and D to control the ship. T will activate the two torpedo cannons at the front, and they will aim wherever this cursor goes. Right, they're going down there. Again, the ship's kind of going faster than them, so it doesn't work very well, but they are part of it in case of combat, which hopefully the ship doesn't get into. And then lastly, there is the M button, which is saucer separation. So again, saucer section up here, drive section up here. But you might notice this little streak right here. Those will disappear. They're glue blocks. Again, not actually how Star Trek does it, but this is how we do it in Build-A-Boat. And this will jettison the entire jettison deck 3 and 4. So what we'll do first is I'll probably land the ship, separate it, and then take off the saucer. Move it off, and it'll be smooth. So to land the ship, again, you want to be on the impulse mode. You're going to have to put the landing gear back on, like this. It will then slowly lower. This time, I guess we'll land on blue team. You kind of want to be upright. You want to be as upright most of you can. Let go, and boom, we're done. Now, in order to separate the saucer, again, you just want to click the M button. This will slowly release all the glue blocks around the neck. See? They're all slowly coming undone. Now the saucer has been separated. And then it's probably going to bump the drive section a bit, but you kind of want to go straight ahead. Now, again, we do have landing gear engaged. It's going to be a bit awkward, but just activate the impulse. And again, that time wasn't too bad, thankfully. Now, again, we're kind of stuck because of the landing gear, so I'm going to release that. It's going to drop the drive section down, but it's the only way the saucer can really break free. And boom, now the saucer has been separated. Again, using the same control on the bridge, it won't move the drive section at all unless you activate the warp engines. Now, when you can land the saucer section just simply by landing it down, and it will kind of balance on the two retracted landing gear. And it works really just the same, except you don't have an elevator, because the elevator is part of the drive section, remember. So what you kind of do is, to get out, you just open the elevator door and jump down. And here we are under it. To get back in, the part of the Jeffries tube here, which we kind of climbed through, is open. You can grab onto this, open the hatch, and now we're on deck 3. And then again, if you want to get back to the bridge, open the door. And it's like a little ladder thing here. You can climb up. Press the button here, and this will open this door. So that's kind of how you survive with only the saucer. And lastly, the final feature, which I have not touched yet, is what this button here does on this console. That is the self-destruct button. Since we are separated, it will be perfect because all this basically does is explodes the warp core and does significant damage to the drive section. Not too bad, not like an actual self-destruct would do in the show, but still a decent amount. So again, drive section as it is now, clicking the button, and boom, bunch of pieces fly out as the base of this whole deck 3 has been destroyed. Engineering is all gone. So again, it's a great thing to roleplay with, or whatever, or if your ship's under attack, or hostile forces taking it over. You do have to be on the bridge in order to access it, but just press that button and boom, cause pretty bad damage to the ship. And yeah, and that concludes the tour of the Enterprise C, my version of the Enterprise C in Build-A-Boat for Treasure Roblox. Any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to recreate this if you want. I really don't care. I know I really haven't slowed down too much, so it might be hard, but again, it's up to you if you want to figure that out. This took a lot of time, a lot of materials. This is at least 20,000 blocks of concrete, which is what the main material here you are seeing. So yeah, and I hope, but yeah, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!